your choices all up to you. Too many things, don't know what to do. Speak your mind and you won't get judged. If it kicks off, you won't hold no grudges. What? Come online, come online. CSI, CSI. Come online, come online. CSI, CSI.
Hey, I'm Helen and this is Common Society Issues. Now, not everyone realizes their potential and has a smooth journey from adolescence to adulthood. Sometimes it takes reaching rock bottom to realize that there really is a way to the top. At a noticeably young age, Darren McKevitt developed a negative mindset. He had no mental wealth or focus and never felt like he was enough. A lot of bad habits he developed came from his family's beliefs and perceptions and the environment around him. He grew up in a broken home and his father wasn't around much. Alcohol, drug abuse, and crime were his way of life. So he was raised by his working mother, who struggled to hold down a job and care for him. After a life of drugs, crime, and life-altering challenges, he found his way and is now certified in holistics coaching, specializing in hypnotherapy and helping people to start and scale a 6 to 7 figure online business. These are the things that people dream of, and through hard work and sacrificing your old life, such dreams are possible. And it's my great pleasure now to welcome the man of the moment. So it's my great pleasure to have you here, Darren, to share your story. And I mean, what a story it is. But let's go back. Tell me a little bit about your childhood. We mentioned a few bits and pieces there in the introduction, but just tell me a little bit, a taster of your childhood growing up.
Yeah, but basically growing up, I grew up in a council area, a council estate, and when I moved up there, the places was full of heroin. That's all, heroin. And you know, I lived in a corner house, so mainly all the joyriding cars would come down and up and down, so it was right in front of me. So my environment, it was fear, it was scarcity, everyone was out for themselves, and I grew up in that. There was a lot of ego as well. Like basically, like your ego, you'd have to uphold yourself and a reputation stuff. Yeah. You know, it was very disempowering. But growing up there, I adapted it. I didn't know anything else, and it was something that I adapted it and became.
Okay. And I mean, it was a loving home. We mentioned that it was a broken home. Yeah. You're not the first, and you won't be the last to come from a broken home. But I mean, how did that affect the path of your life as well?
Well, see. My role models, my father wasn't there because of his own drink and drug abuse, and the relationship was very toxic. So he was in and out of my life all the time. So any time he was in my life, my father used to sell drugs. So I was absorbing everything he was doing. So that just led me to believe that there's other ways to make money out there. So as I'm out in my own environment, I'm seeing people driving flash cars and making money, and a lot of free...
The easy way.
The easy way, but a lot of free time on themselves. And that's what I wanted. I couldn't do a 9 to 5, so I decided to go down that route.
Yeah, and I suppose your father is your male role model that you have in your life. So for somebody like you, a boy like you growing up where your father's distracted, were the other role models then those criminals and joyriders and the other drug dealers and stuff in the area? Did they become your role models? Yeah,
well, see, I developed this at a very young age. 8 years of age was the first time I was in trouble with the law. Okay. So it was very young, and I always wanted to be the big lads, you know, the macho fella and do all this stuff and all. But again, it was false. Yes. So I just grew up looking at the older young fellas and doing what they were doing, and it just became a habit. Yeah. You know, at a young age, I seen my mother, we were struggling, and she was crying because we had no money. So there and then I thought to myself, look, I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna go out there and provide for her, and I'll do whatever I have to do, you know.
So it was actually survival.
Survival. Yeah. That's it. Survival out there.
Yeah. I mean, and around that age, of course, schooling, like you've still got to go to school and you've still got to learn and do all of that. So, I mean, how did you kind of manage
Never went in.
You never went in. So when did you leave school?
I was kicked out of school in 5th class. Look, whole people. I was very damaged as a child. You know, my escapism was robbing all the time. I used to have to rob out of shops.
Why did you rob?
Because it was an excitement. I had no fun. I was an only child, and then in the environment that I was in, doing nasty shit is fun. Smashing windows, burning cars, doing all this, it's fun, it's adrenaline, and getting chased. So, as I got older, it just stuck. I just needed to do it, you know.
Almost like an addiction to the
Exactly.
adrenaline of the situation.
Yeah, like an addiction. But the thing is as well, that growing up in a family home that I grew up in, there was always arguments. There was drug abuse, there was fighting, there was all sorts. So this was my way of escaping. That was my way of escaping, was doing that.
And do you think that maybe you, in a way, you kind of loved the madness a little bit at the time?
I still do.
Do you?
I still do, but I can't do it.
Yes.
You know, I can't. Look, slowly but surely, some of the madness is coming out of me, but I still do. Like, I love cars getting flashed, joyriding. I love the noise. I love the sound. It sets something off in me. I've always loved it since I'm a child. You know what I mean? But look, the way I am now is once it's positive and once it's not harming anyone, that's the thing.
That's the way to go. Now, you mentioned about getting in trouble with the law at a very young age, at the age of 8, and that wasn't the last time. Can you tell me a little bit about your offences, and did you serve time? You know, what was that? By
God, I only served a year. I should be doing about 7 years now.
Oh, really?
I don't go to court. I go to court in a suit. I go well respected. I have a good team of solicitors behind me, and I will produce as much letters and urines as everything I can. I don't want to do jail. Nobody gets medals for doing jail these days. And it's funny because when I got out of jail, I have people that I don't know coming up to me and respecting me. You don't respect that shit, do you know what I mean? But my first charge was I was caught with a lot of drugs, and it was just under the section 15A. I was strung out on tablets at the time, I was sloppy, I was all over the place. I had people working for me who were holding the stuff, and I was also living down in Kildare at the time, and it just took one police officer to come, look at my phone, see messages, and that was it. The 3 houses got raided, another 2 after that, and that put me into €60,000 debt by the age of 21. So
yeah, you don't think about that, because I guess there's one thing is getting caught, but then that whole chain of the drug selling, that was taken from you, the money was taken from you, then what happens with the guys who want their money and they want, you know, the drugs or whatever? You owe the money.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is, I sold all materialistic things that I have, I sold. I can get all that back, that's irrelevant.
How many times did you do that, though?
I've done it a couple of times. I sold my cars, sold my watches, the whole lot. Anything that I owed these people, it was all right. All right, they are friends until something kicks off, or if you really can't pay or something like that. But like, they were okay, so I had to pay £1,000 every week, and that was the agreement to make.
Is this after you came out of jail?
No, this is before. This is the first time, this is the first circuit court charge that I have. I had to pay this €1,000 every week, right? And I was self-medicating every day after that. That was a struggle. I didn't want to get any more stuff because the police were all over me. I didn't know what to do, so I says, I done armed robberies. I done everything I could to reduce that. I even started selling heroin as well.
Because you were desperate to pay the debt.
Desperate to pay it back, and then like I was an addict. I needed to feed my own habit as well. Do you know what I mean? There's often sometimes I sat in a shell of a home, taking drugs with no heating, no pictures on the walls, no tellies, strung out to bits. I went down to 9.5 stone. Now, I went into my first treatment centre, which is Bethel.
What year was that?
It was 2012, 2013, I think. I went in there for the wrong reasons, to get off this church, but I also wanted to know more about myself, because I was starting to find myself fascinating, that I could change little things and stuff. So I went into treatment and I had a spiritual awakening, and there something changed. My morals and principles changed. But when I got out, I got worse. Right, I wasn't taking drugs, but I was still heavily active, and I was meeting new contacts, and I was getting worse and worse and worse.
So do you think that the rehabilitation, because that's what it's supposed to be, actually kind of did work, even though you weren't completely cured, if there is such a thing? Because I think you probably still battle, you know, but it's something that will always stay with you, and every day, it's one day at a time, isn't it? It's just one step at a time.
Well, look, I don't really view it like that. I think an addiction is just another label for a habit. That's all it is, a bad habit. It's just, you know, like the same with food, and if you abuse anything, it becomes a problem. But then, look, I thought I could do this crime sort of shit, and then I was back taking drugs again, and then I went out of control again.
Yeah. So is that to feed the habit? The crime came from feeding the habit?
No, I loved it. I sold my soul for money. This is the thing, you know, I sold my soul for money. I just wanted money, money, money. Because of that experience I had with my mother, I had this vision in my head, was to do great, was to do something good and to make enough money to support myself, my family, my generations and that. It wasn't fucking working, was it?
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't working.
But were you ever scared though? Because as much as you loved it and you loved the madness and you got a kick out of it, were you ever scared?
No, I was, there was a time I was working, when I got out of jail, am I skipping the story here?
No, carry on.
When I got out of jail, the fella who I was working for wouldn't give me any more stuff. He says, Darren, you're unreliable. And I was, because I was taking tablets and I was hiding my own stuff on me, right, and money, and I was all over the place. So he says...
And it was dangerous for him that he might get caught because if you get caught.
Yeah, he wasn't going to get paid. I'm hiding stuff on me because I'm out of my head on tablets. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm spending money. I have no money management.
Yes.
I'm spending money all the time and I don't know what's going on. So we came to an agreement that I would do some dirty work. And dirty work is going down to people's houses for money. Now, I've done a couple of this.
Home robbery?
Not robbery, the people who owe this person money.
Oh, right, like debt collecting.
Yeah, like a debt collector, yeah.
Gotcha.
So I brought a couple of people down me, 1 or 2 people down me. But
is there violence involved in that? Is that you've got to teach them a lesson?
Yeah. There was one in particular, I went through the back door and this fella stood up and he laughed. And I got a fright. I wasn't expecting him to laugh, do you know what I mean? But anyhow, whatever was done. And he moved out of the area. But I was doing a couple of them after that, but I was buzzing. Right after that, I was fucking loving it. It just, do you know what I mean? It was just this adrenaline going, oh yeah, do you know what I mean? It's the same like doing an armed robbery, you jump over. It's that adrenaline, right?
I wouldn't know about that, but...
I know, but this is the adrenaline. This is where I'm getting my kicks from, right?
Yes.
So, I done a couple of them, and the last one then I done turned out to be the wrong bloke. Right, now, the way I kind of justify this is that he was part of the circle and blah blah blah, and the person I was shown looked the image of him and whatever. And we're talking about six figures, nearly 7 figures.
Wow.
So no, sorry, 6 figures. And this is. So yeah, basically I went down, done. The next day I got the phone call saying he seen the fella and there's not a mark on him, and my whole heart sank. Now, I'm a logical person and I am nice, but when it comes to money, all bets are off. Yes. Especially in that game, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? I go and do what I have to do to whatever. So I was a bit upset over it, you know, but I just kind of shook it off and says, look, you shouldn't have been involved in it. Now, to go back to your question there about have I ever been scared? Once. Yeah. And that was when I was in hospital. I think you might want to add.
About that, yeah. I mean, you've had massive challenges in your life, but we said life-altering challenges. Yeah. So that's this story. I'm dying to hear more about that, if you'd like to tell us. Yeah, okay. So I got out of jail, and you know, like you're in jail. It's been a long time, and women and stuff and all, and you're mad fucking. You're a bloke. Like what else you expect? You know what I mean? So I went on to Tinder. I went on to sites and all. I just wanted sex. That was it. Do you know what I mean? It's been a long time. Yes. So I end up meeting a girl. But I also want to find the right one for me as well. It's been always in me, you know. Because you didn't really have relationships, I would imagine, through all of this.
No, and they were always crazy relationships as well. So I met this girl anyhow. I was thinking she was the one, and look, I seen red flags. I didn't go. And I remember her asking me to stop doing what I was doing, and I was still committed to crime. Do you know what I mean? But like when you're in, when I say committed to crime, the mindset that we have is we walk into a shop, we see cameras, here's a handy touch, all that. It's just that mindset, you know what I mean? Get one over and someone.
You're scoping the place
already. Yeah, she's after dropping that purse, grab it. You know, all this sort of stuff, right? And she was asking me, and I says, no, I wouldn't do it. Turns out she was pregnant, right?
Oh gosh, okay.
She was 12 weeks pregnant. Now, I agreed. I said to her, I says, look, I will give up everything for you, and I'll abide by it, whatever, right? Yeah. I seen red flags at the start. I should have walked, right? And I knew myself, right? So I get a phone call off her one night and all, and she's pissed drunk, right? And I thought something, I'm totally against that, do you know what I mean? So I said, if I stay where I am in my own place, I'm a bigger cunt. If I go over to her, Well then, Lisa, I went over, I sat down, now I communicate, I'm all about communication. You need communication in a relationship, it has to be hard because no one knows where anyone stands or whatever, do you know?
Yeah.
So it was just going over her head, and I just says, look, I says, you remind me of someone, a lunatic, like, do you know, I just call her a lunatic.
Yeah.
But she jumped up off the bed and just started punching her stomach, bam, 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 and hit the ground. Right, now, my whole fear of everything, my soul left me. Now, just at that time, I wasn't taking tablets, so I was back off the coke and all. I wasn't taking tablets or anything like that. As soon as that happened the next day, we went down to the hospital, and I felt like the doctors were looking at me. I could feel it.
Yeah.
And I knew I made a conscious decision that day. I says, you know what, I'm going back on the tablets now. So I went off, took loads of tablets. Now, at this time...
Did you lose the baby then?
Well, I'll get to that. So, after some time going through this, I'm necking tablets, I'm making up in the morning, I have an ounce of coke there, I'm taking coke out and I'm sniffing that, I'm drinking, I'm going out collecting money, I'm arguing people on the phone. Just chaotic lifestyle. I'm going down working for people, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And then I have this girl here, something that I've always feared. I knew where this was going to go. So I went back to try and talk about things and stuff and to sort it out, and it just didn't work. She spat at me, calling me a scumbag. She lost it due to her own illnesses or whatever, you know. So I had to walk away from that situation. I had to make a conscious decision to walk away for my own peace of mind. So I don't know if she lost it. I think she did.
Oh wow, so you haven't even spoken to her?
I have, but I don't think so. Listen, I've done my homework. I don't think she has. She has it.
Maybe she was
and it's for the best. It's for the best because I wouldn't be able to bring a child up into that.
Yeah. I mean, you really had kind of moments where it looked like things were going to turn for you. But do you think that it really is about timing, and everybody's different? So you could say, if a person goes to rehab, then they'll be okay. If a person goes to prison, then they'll be okay. There's no recipe for someone to pull themselves out of a cycle of destruction. So what actually was that point where you realized that you wanted to pull yourself out of the cycle?
I read a book called The Secret when I was 21, and it resonated with me. I believe that I'm always spiritual, I'm a spiritual being. I know I might don't look at it, but I meditate, I do loads of things, I'm highly spiritual. And
is that since you had your awakening or always?
Always.
Okay.
Always. I tell you, I just kind of jump back to this if this one's alright. When I read that book, The Secret, when I was 21, a family member of mine was strung out in heroin. They found God and stopped. They didn't need a detox, they didn't need anything. And at the time I was looking at the Illuminati and feeding all that sort of stuff, right? So here's my auntie here's my family member after getting off the drugs, right? And I wanted to know how, God, all this. So I went over to her and we had a chat and explained, and I was fascinated with it. I went back to a house, I lived in Kilnairn at the time. I went back to a house and I had a chain on my neck. It was a robbed chain, and on it was a cross. And I remember praying, and it says, God, if you're there, give me a sign. Right, give me a sign. Fell asleep, woke up. The chain was on my neck and the cross was on the floor, and there was nothing broken. Wow. Within 3 days, the police were all over me and they brought me to my knees and brought me into that Christian place.
Okay.
And it was a spiritual journey. That's what happened, you know.
Amazing. So, with your experience in jail as well, though, do you think that kind of put more bumps in the road and didn't rehabilitate you whatsoever? Like, did you, because you're basically then hanging out 24/7 with criminals, even though maybe in your life you kind of were, but you did have moments of clarity where you were like, no, I need to get on the straight and narrow. But then you're in jail hanging out with all these guys. So how did that affect you?
Again, you get accustomed to your circumstances very quick, your environment very quick. At the start going in, I was still in my head, so it really didn't sink in. It was only about a week later till the drugs started coming out of my system that I actually broke down and cried in my cell. You know, I should have been dead. I've cheated that loads of times. And the fact that happened, I cried, I prayed, I says, Lord, thank you, and now it's time to move forward. Jail is like a school during the day and a block of flats at night. You have the tunes and all going at night, and it's like school during the day. Right, but all conversations has all got to do with drug use, crime, handy touches, everything. There is no positivity in it. There's nothing. There's none. Everyone has an angle, and it's vicious and it's violent. You say the wrong thing to someone has an ego problem, and you're getting cut up. That's just the way it is.
Did you get beat up at all?
I had a fight. I did have a fight in there. Again, drugs is currency. Drugs is currency in there.
Sure.
Look, I had a fight in there. I had to knock off someone down in the holding cells for kit change, you know. What happened was, there was a young fella that came onto the landing, and apparently he was abusing an old man in the same cell as him, and this went on for a few days, so there was a few of us outside, and at the time my granddad wasn't well. But listen to this, right? My granddad wasn't well, and I used that pain, right, to go and do this. So we went into the cell, hit that man a hook, and he went over to the other side. Within that, the two lads comes running in, and kettles and fucking all sorts were all over him. But I only done that because I was angry with myself and trying to put bravado. It's very boring in jail as well, do you know what I mean? And
so you got a bit of a kick, actually.
Got a bit of a kick as well, over. And it's funny because a good friend of mine who was going through the houses with me, he said to me, I was up in the block. I had to go with the block and on, and came back down. I was on Route 62. I had no clothes on. I had a poncho on me. I was up there for 7 days, 24-hour watches and stuff like that. And he came back down. And then I had an argument. So you had that fight with your man. So look, it wasn't. I'm not going to say I won or he won. It was a stupid little few digs thrown. You know what I mean? And that was that. But that's it. That was all that was there.
Yeah. And I mean, through all of this madness and everything, knowing what you know now, would you change anything? Do you regret anything?
The only thing I regret is that I shouldn't have done this a lot sooner. If I had this knowledge and this awareness around myself sooner, I would have been a lot further. But look, it is what it is.
Have you apologised to yourself and your family?
I've apologised to everyone. Everyone that I've hurt.
And you?
And myself, and everyone that I've hurt. I've even texted people out of the blue on my phone. Look, I said I'm sorry. I know I didn't get a response back, but that's on them. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I made peace with the universe. I made peace with myself, and that's that. Especially with my family as well.
Yeah. Now, where did this? Obviously, now you're a holistics coach, and you've got amazing things happening. But where did this love of kind of psychology and really the human mind come from?
Yeah, well, I've always liked the human mind, and I've always liked witchery and fucking all that sort of stuff when I was a little kid. Do you know what I mean? But this is it now.
That's like spirituality as well.
Spirituality. Sure. This is still it. It's the same thing. It's still now. So I love how the mind works. I love how I work. How I can better myself, do different things. You know, I have a challenge, I go face a challenge. I just love how I work, and I love how other people work as well.
Yeah.
You know, and how this all came about, when I was in the second treatment centre that I was in, there's 2 phases. Phase 1, I graduated. Now I'm in a hall here, and there's 30 addicts, 30 lunatics, murderers, all sorts. And they're
how long, sorry to interrupt, how long is that treatment program?
That's 15 months, but I done an extra 3 months in there. And I could have done more, but I felt I was ready.
All right.
So I had 30 people coming over to me and saying, Darren, you're after changing my life. I was going to go out that gate and blah, blah, blah. Okay. And I fucking cried. That, like, you can't explain that feeling. It's unbelievable, do you know what I mean? And I knew from that day, I says, this is what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Now, as I went into phase 2 of it, you're reintegrated back into society. And which means that whatever goes on in our day-to-day life in society, you go back into a group and you share it and whatever. And there's this group in there called the slip group. Now this means, right, if you're going around on the floor in therapy and you're acting the bollocks and all, people will write down stuff, feedback. So you will have a group where they all will, you know what I mean?
Say what is written down.
Say what's written down and hold you accountable. And you have to sit there and take that. So at the start it can be very daunting and you can be nervous and all this sort of stuff. So I just thought of this. I says the more times I go, because you need repetition to change things. The more time I went to this group feeling fear, I decided to change it from fear to excitement. And now I'm fucking raring to go. Now I can't wait to go in there. I'm sticking everyone to the wall. Do you know what I mean? This is what it is. So there's one of the psychologists in there, he says, Darren, that's very smart. I have a good awareness around myself, so I says, look, this is what I'm gonna do, this is me passion, you know, and if that comes in, like the spirituality, I love it, I love the peace, you know. People don't understand out there is because they're still in that mindset and in that lifestyle, that peace of mind can't be bought, and it's lovely, you know, and that's part of why what I do, what I do.
And in a way, with you being in therapy and giving therapy at the same time, it's a different kind of learning for you, you know, it's a different kind of experience.
Yeah, well, I'm therapy 24/7. I don't turn off. I will analyse everything. I will go back home now after this and I analyse every single little thing, and so I can improve to go to the next one. This is the way I see life. I use it to my advantage no matter what it is.
So who have been some of your role models? I know that you said that you read The Secret and that was amazing, so obviously there's some great you know, inspiration in there, but in your life, who have been your role models? Yeah,
well, I would class myself as the next Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is one, Bruce Lipton, Greg Braden, these are all about mind and stuff. Bob Proctor in some way, look, I believe in the law of attraction and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But when you start understanding your brain and how hypnosis works, it is that. Conor McGregor was a big one. He came from the same area, look what he's doing. I don't see Conor McGregor for his fights. I look at his achievements and what he's doing. He doesn't stop, do you know what I mean? Paddy Holohan, he's another fellow, I was only talking to him there recently. He's going to get a free copy of my book. Paddy Holohan came into me when I was in jail, well, not into me myself. He came in to do a speech in jail and I was lost. You know, again, I was only back down off the old 62. I started taking drugs, just didn't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? And he was doing a speech in the PE hall and a fella came over to me and said, why don't we go down? And I was like, no. I had actually murder with my cellmate next door, or my cellmate. And I was thinking all nasty thoughts and stuff like that about him and all this mad carry on, right? So I went with him, I said, fuck it, I'll go with him. And as soon as I sat down, I was like, Paddy Holohan was talking to me straight away, to my soul. That's what I felt. I needed that to take me back out of there and onto the journey that I should have been doing. I was the only one to go over and shake his hand, and he wrote me out an autograph, which I still have on my phone. Yeah.
I mean, but that's the thing, I suppose for some people it does take a few awakenings, because that's kind of what they are, you know, along the way, and realizations along the way. But I mean, you're living proof that it's possible, and the fact that you're taking all that knowledge and experience with no regrets, apart from some scary stuff as well, that you're now actually empowering other people and giving back through what you do, is amazing to me. It really is amazing that you can do that and assist people and help people, and it's for the greater good. You know. Tell me a little bit about the hypnotherapy side of things as well, and your passion for that.
Right. Again, I'm not doing this for me. This is for everyone else. I honestly believe, right, is that I'm here to help myself and mankind. The future is in my hands. A lot of people don't understand that. I've no kids, thank God, not yet. So when I have,
you know of.
That I know of, So when I have 3, I'll be passing down all my knowledge and experiences, money management, the whole lot. They will have 3 kids, 3 kids, so on and so forth. That it's a colony. That's what I'm looking at, you know what I mean? Just peace.
Colony of positivity.
Yeah, so I'm like a new age hippie. That's what I'm like, a well-dressed hippie.
With shoes.
Yeah, a well-dressed hippie.
Amazing.
But, sorry, I was just jumping off topic there. What did you say there?
No, I was just saying about the hypnotherapy side,
Yeah, so the hypnotherapy is, right, a lot of people don't understand. We all say affirmations. We all powerful thinking and all this, right? People do not understand what hypnotherapy is all about. Hypnotherapy is the quickest and more effective way to change those neurons in your head. So let's say you come to me, you want to go on stage here, you want to be the best presenter. I will hypnotise you, right? But it's not that sense, right?
It's like affirmations.
It's like that, but see, we are all hypnotised. So my job and role here is to de-hypnotise you, because you're already confident. It's all these stored mixed beliefs and all these that you have stored up in you. I take that away from you and find your true power. The reason why I like hypnotherapy is because it's all about the mind, and it's a form of manipulation. You can look at it whatever way you want, but you can manipulate it for the greater of mankind. And what put me onto that was subliminal messages. I think we've all heard of subliminal messages growing up and all this stuff like that. I use hypnosis on myself. I use subliminal messages on myself. I just keep programming myself, because the way we are as humans, we are consciousness and we are absorbing everything in and we are becoming it.
Yeah.
So like I don't watch telly, I reduce telly, my phone, all that sort of stuff. I don't see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. And all that I put into myself is the hypnosis, affirmations and all that stuff. Now affirmations won't do it alone.
Yes.
You need that coherent with your heart and your mind and your body and really feel it. And that's how it works. But the hypnosis is great. Darren Brown, stuff like this, these all use that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the way it is the hypnosis people automatically think it's on stage and I can get you to jump around like a mad
Be a chicken.
Yeah, now I could, but I wouldn't do that because people really don't understand the power of hypnosis.
Exactly.
You can change a whole outer world with hypnosis. If I say to you that card is red, hypnotise it, well the card is red.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
And it's just for empowerment. It's unbelievable and it's back in the Illuminati days. It's in their symbols and the whole lot. It's just, that's the way forward.
Yeah, it's interesting how you talked about almost like control, and I had a visual of you saying about scoping like houses and shopping centres for cameras. You're almost scoping somebody's mind for like the negatives and everything and just kind of getting them out. So that's kind of cool, I think.
Yeah. There was actually a film there I watched with Will Smith in it, and it was great.
Yeah.
There was a camera, they were out with this camera and they were targeting this specific camera. And what they done was they planted little seeds in his head. On the day when he was gambling and whatever, he picked that number. Do you know what I mean? It's very easy to do things like this.
Yes.
Yeah. Everything is in the mind.
Yes. It's called distraction or something, with that technique. It's got a...
Yeah.
it's
Well, you're
very
planting
interesting.
seeds, you're planting seeds.
Without you even knowing. It's like subconscious kind of
that's exactly it. That's why I don't listen to music. I'm very selective of what I watch and the music I listen to. Because when I used to listen to rap music, I used to get angry. And I'd have my earphones in, I'd be smoking weed, and there'd be a gangster movie going off in my head.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Now in my head, I'm listening, I have a pina colada in my hand, I'm on a beach, I'm doing forex trading, I'm making money, I'm being a service to others, and that's what gets me going.
That
You know,
pumped, yeah,
it makes me pumped. So when I see someone doing something well, I've hypnotised myself, right? All I see is success.
Yes.
So when I see someone doing something well, I applaud that to be fullest, and I'm like, that's what it's about. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing so well now as well, which is so beautiful to see. But I mean, can you tell us about some of your other successes as well? I know you've got a book coming out.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, okay. Right, so I do the 5-year plan.
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually wrote out my 5-year plan just to make sense of it for myself. So we're in the 5 years. I've got off with a serious court case. I had a standoff emergency response unit in my house. I jumped out the window and smashed both my heads. I was in hospital for 3 months. I graduated from the toughest TC in Europe. I've started 4 companies, failed on 2, I'm currently doing 2. I've money in investments in stocks, I've investments in crypto. I have a lot going on. I have another book now coming out as well. That's not this one that we're talking about, this is another one. But the one that I'm talking about now, this one's phenomenal.
Okay, what's it called?
It's called The Power of Mental Wealth.
Okay.
Right, I was actually looking for someone in America to publish this other book that I'm doing. And a good friend of mine, Carl Davison, fantastic bloke. Seeing him, he met up with me, we had a good chat, and I told him that I'm looking for a publisher. He says, get on to this fella Johnny Wimbrey in America. I did. So he messaged me back and says, get on to my team. So I got on to his team. So as I'm on the team there being a mix up of communication, I'm looking for a publisher, but yeah, these are hitting me with a different book. Do I want to, you know, they heard my story, they'd like me to be a part of it. So I says, yeah, why not?
Okay.
So I've done that. So the book is with the world's greatest motivation speaker, Les Brown. Heather Monaghan, she's a women's empowerment guru.
Cool.
And Johnny Wimby, he's a multi-millionaire success coach. And he just released a book there called Building a Millionaire Mindset.
Okay.
You know, people dream of these things, and now I'm collaborating with this.
That's so cool.
I know, yeah.
It's almost like The Secret, because that's a collaboration.
Yeah, because all I do, again, I've no telling me how, so I just sit there, I visualise, I believe it, I know the journey that I'm on. This is, everyone has a path to go on, and this is my path, this is what I have to do. Do you know what I mean? I have to do this for other people, it's not about me.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask you, you know, if you could give some advice, if there's some young guys watching, or even young girls watching, who are kind of just battling to find their role models out there, what advice can you give them to kind of just keep them on the right path?
I have a lot of advice, is that okay?
Sorry?
I have a lot of advice.
That's cool, go for it.
Okay, number one.
As long as you don't charge us. As long as you don't invoice us.
All right, okay. Right, so number one is to gain a good awareness around yourself. Understand positive and negativity. Say yes to everything. Yes, there's a film out there with Jim Carrey in it and it's called Yes Man, and I fucking believe that. You just say yes, within reason now, because you don't get charge sheets, you don't do anything like that, but within reason, just go and say yeah, and that's it. Be true to yourself and fuck everyone else.
That's some good advice right there.
Because listen, it's your world. Everyone has their own individual
their own
world.
path and their own...
Their own worlds, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sharing my world with you, you're sharing your world with me. And remember that you are the king and queen of your own world.
That's good advice. Darren, I feel like I could speak to you for like a
so could I.
year, but unfortunately we can't. But I'd really love to have you back on,
Definitely.
you know, and find out what else is happening in your life.
Yeah, big things is happening.
It's amazing, and it's good to see you doing well.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Really
I appreciate that.
Darren McKevitt, right here on Common Society Issues. If you guys have a story, if you know somebody who has a story of inspiration or something you want to share with us, please get in touch. You can find us on the website, COMMONSOCIETYISSUES.com. We'll see you next time. Hi, I'm Helen.
Hey, I'm Candy.
Hi, I'm Michael.
Hi, I'm Ivy.
And this is Lucia.
Thank you for watching CSI.
Make sure to subscribe to CSI Common Society Issues.
And remember to hit that notification bell.
Thank you.